CM 365, all about Carnatic music.
If today we can take pride in the vastness and greatness of Carnatic music, we owe much. In fact, we should feel a sense of gratitude to the musical trinity, Sri Tyagarajar, Sri Muthuswami Dikshidhar and Sri Shyama Sastri, for the vast treasure of music that they have given us through their inimitable compositions. In fact, these are not just compositions, I would say, because they have been instrumental in laying the path for the future of music itself. So from their time till today, we see that the music that has flown, and it's going to flow also, will definitely take the path that has been laid down by the Trinity. Now, in their life, we see that a lot of coincidences have happened in the sense that all the three were, first of all, contemporaries, and they were all the three were born in Tiruvarur. I suppose this is all a God-given kind of blessing, that God destined that it should happen this way, that all the three were born in the same place. But what is very, very striking here is that though they were actually staying around the same place itself, each one of them through their compositions gave a distinct structure, distinct content to music itself. And that is something very, very important for us to understand. The latter part of the 18th century, if we see that the most important area or the most important time for Carnatic music. And we also term this as the golden period of Carnatic music because of the fact that Tyagaraja, Dikshidhar and Shyama Sastri lived during this time. And we see that these three composers illuminated the musical horizon with their unparalleled compositions. They were great devotees, poets and musicians who gave fresh life to Carnatic music through their unique handling of the art. And as I said earlier, they were all born in the village of Tiruvarur. And what is remarkable here is that they were simultaneously great bhaktas who were steeped in divinity and as well as being great composers. Before the time of this Trinity, we see that there have been many saints. But the point here is that all these saints try to express their bhakti through the medium of music. So where the sahitya or the lyrical content was very important and the music was only a vehicle to convey the sahitya. But it was only in the time of the Trinity that a complete twist in the conceptualization of music itself took place, in the sense that for the Trinity, the music itself became a language of communication. So where the sahitya was definitely an aid, but the music also by itself had so much content to communicate and to actually give us so much. The music had so much to offer, and that is what makes them and their compositions very distinct. Being Nada yogis, they took to Sankirtana Marga, and for them music was a sadhana, a means to moksha. All the three of them, we see that the sahitya or text of song is sublime and lofty, and the music is equally bewitching. This is again a very unique quality where you see that there is a perfect balance between the sahitya and the music. So if you look at the lyrical aspect, the sahitya aspect, there is such a treasure to offer to us, in fact, in so much in terms of the philosophical aspect, the spiritual aspect, everything, the divine aspect, everything is there in the sahitya on one side. And equally balancing is the music, where the raga, thala, the compositional structure, the kind of kala pramana, the edipu, the conceptualization of each raga. And even we see that in the Trinity, the same raga, how each of them have conceptualized it differently. All this actually makes for a striking balance, I would say, between the Sahitya and the Sangeeta here. And Tyagarajar, who is deep-rooted in Rama Bhakti, sings the glory of Rama, and he expresses his devotion to him in varied kind of mental states. He tries to express his emotions. Muthuswami Dikshidhar is a contrast, because here Tyagaraja, as we said, that he is as if he is talking to Rama, and he actually thinks of Rama in different forms and different emotions. He tries to convey his emotions, he tries to convey his bhakti to Rama, I would say, through the medium of music. In the case of Muthuswami Dikshidhar, we see that he is a true kind of Advaitin and a Jnani. And what is happening here is that he actually does not devote his compositions to any particular god, but he sings in praises of all the goddess and goddesses. His songs are a valuable guide to the worship of various shrines. Why? Because of the fact that they contain details of sthala, the presiding deity, various shrines as they contain details of the sthala vriksha and other things, then special worship offered in certain temples, the musical instruments played during the temple festivals. Like this, you see that a fund of information about the deities and related aspects are given in the compositions of Dikshidhar. If you look at his songs, they breathe the highest form of jnana, the state of divine knowledge. In the case of Shyama Sastri, the emotion that he expresses towards goddess Kamakshi, his favorite deity, is totally different from the other two, in the sense that it is like the relationship between the child and the mother, and unfolds childlike innocence, sattvic nature, and complete surrender unto the goddess. Now, if you see, as a child approaches the mother, Shyama Sastri is full of affection towards goddess Kamakshi and seeks her protection. His compositions, thus, because of this bhava of the child and mother, you see that they are completely moving, touching, and overflowing with a lot of feelings of, you see that a sense of helplessness, a sense of despair, pleading to the goddess to protect him. And in this concept also, one thing should be remembered, that this kind of a bhava that Shyama Sastri actually had is more about the shedding one's ego, the childlike quality, simplicity and innocence actually, which are characteristic of a true sattvic nature, can be acquired only when you shed this ego. So this bhava is something very, very unique that Shyama Sastri has portrayed to us through his compositions. Now, if I look at the three of them, that is the Trinity, the Mummurtigal, whatever be their mode, we see that their ultimate goal was liberation from the bondage of birth and death. Of course, the mode of worship, there is a difference. There may be, the way they handled, the way they worshipped God may have been different. The approach may be different. The medium of utterance, that is, what is the kind of language, one use Sanskrit, other use Telugu, sometimes it's a mixture of Telugu and Sanskrit, sometimes only Tamil. So all these kinds of ways of utterance, and utterance also means the bhava, that is the way they have looked at God itself. Then their, whatever be the way in which they have conceived their composition, ultimately we see that their destination has been the same. And all the three of them, through their compositions, have been perennial source of inspiration to the art fraternity. And their compositions, we see that all the three of them, whatever compositions that they've given us, through their divine attributes which were there in them, as well as their prolific musicianship, we see that are a treasure that they have given to the music world.
CM 365, all about Carnatic music.